You used to be able to see people you were following. There was a tab where you could see things that they were liking. You can't see that anymore. But when I was with this person, right. I could click over and see, and I would see his profile name. Oh, so-and-so liked so-and-so's photo, so-and-so photo, so-and-so photo. And it would be random fucking girls, bikini photos, people I didn't know. And I just remember feeling like,
what the fuck are you doing?
We're engaged. This just feels a little weird, but that's so normal now because it's so accessible. I'll share something kind of personal that just recently this year I realized in terms of my like work productivity, like I have mixed feelings on this.
And it's okay for your coworkers and boss to hear this?
Oh, no, for sure.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if I even told you this actually. I set up a doctor's appointment. It was a few months ago. So for a long time, going back to high school is when I would say I first noticed it. Like I've struggled with being able to focus for longer amounts of time and like procrastination and all of these things. And someone in my family who I will not name, immediate family member, has been the last, I think 5, 6, 7 years has been on Adderall. And I have wanted to like have an assessment done, but I have such mixed feelings on it because for one, I'm not a huge fan of taking like medicine at all. Like I don't even like taking ibuprofen unless it's absolutely necessary.
Right.
So I'm just kind of against putting things in my body unless I really absolutely need it. But I hit kind of a point, I think it was in February with work where, and I don't want to blame my job. I think this is kind of just like a work culture thing in like America specifically.
Right.
Where I just was feeling so much struggle to be able to focus for more than like 10, 15 minutes at a time. And I would have like tons of project work and tedious tasks and all these things that weren't stimulating my mind in a way that was interesting. And it's so interesting because I'm kind of go off on a tangent right now. But when I think about like when I sit down and do podcast stuff, because this is fun for me, this is something I love. And then I can sit down and I can literally spend 4 hours doing editing work and just grind it out because I like it. I enjoy it. It brings me like pleasure. It like stimulates my mind. You know, doing those types of things, no problem. But when it's like stuff that I don't enjoy and things that aren't stimulating to me and I have to like spend, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours a day doing project work and focusing on things, I was struggling so much to be able to keep up with the demand of what I had on my work plate. Yeah. So I had an assessment done and I checked 8 out of 10 boxes for attention issues like ADD. Oh. And so they like prescribed me Adderall like that. And I remember telling the doctor that I was a little like hesitant and I wanted to make sure that we started like with a very, very, very low minimal dosage because I know a lot of people that are on Adderall and like even in college people that would take it that weren't prescribed it. And
for tests and
it's got a similar chemical makeup to like methamphetamine. So it's really intense and all these things. Meth,
yes.
Right. So I'm on a very, very small dosage and I don't even take it every day. And I'm very particular about days that I take it. But I don't know. We're just kind of talking about like attention span. And that was just
help. Does it actually help you focus?
It does. And it was reminding me that like it really like hurt my soul, like kind of almost like giving in, if you will. Cause I felt like I'm giving in to this work society that we've created for ourselves that is not sustainable. Majority of human beings can't function efficiently this way, but now I'm taking medicine and putting it in my body so that I can produce in a robotic way to, you know what I mean? Like that like that's frustrating to me because it just feels like fuck, like right, I don't want to have to do this and I shouldn't have to do this.
So you can also
because humans aren't meant to sit in front of a computer for like 10 hours
Absolutely
a day.
True. So it's not necessarily blaming American or any country work culture. It's more about, humans have been around in our current form for about a million years or so. But so you have all that million years of evolution and how we were designed to function on the planet Earth. And all of a sudden, in the last 150 years, with the advent of technology and all that stuff, there has been a super big change in the way that humans live. And it's only happened in the last 150 years. 150 years
when
ago.
You think about the evolution of humans, that's a very short amount of time, and a lot of changes happened in that very short amount of time.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So humans have been around for 1 million years, and they were hunter-gatherers, you know, whatever. But then in the last 150 years, all of a sudden, with the Industrial Revolution and the advent of technology and how it's exponentially just getting faster, the humans can't evolve fast enough to keep up with. All of a sudden, this is what the workplace is. You're standing in front of a computer. So it's not, I feel it's not necessarily any society's workplace environment. It's the fact that the way that humans evolved over a few million years can't keep up with the changing technology.
Correct.
So
I
mean
that's what I meant. I wasn't like blaming any company or any society.
Or not even any culture or any country. It's just technology and basically the way that humans live is advancing faster than we can evolve to. Obviously.
Right. I mean, I do think there's some cultures that are doing it a little bit better, even though you have computer jobs, you still take proper, longer 2-hour lunches, like the French.
So there is a way.
Or when there's sunny days that sunny days that hit you, like Germans, for example, they'll leave the office early, and if it's like a beautiful day outside, it's like, no, this is more important than sitting in our office. And,
I mean, sunshine's good.
Yeah, so just those types of things.
So there's definitely different places on the planet Earth that are handling it better.
Yeah.
But it's more of a problem of the way that humans, their brains are advancing faster than their biological bodies can keep up with.
Correct. We haven't given ourselves enough time to be able to adjust to this new lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, technology is advancing way too fast for us.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole social media thing.
Yeah.
Our brains are not programmed to handle the way that social media is now.
Yeah.
It's advancing too fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's definitely better ways to handle it.
For sure. And for me, it's more just I felt a little bit of shame and embarrassment when I okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get an Adderall prescription and I'm going to trial it out and kind of just test it out and see and take some. And I just felt like,
it's almost like you were
I almost felt like
in.
I failed myself a little bit, and I was caving in. Or like
you were caving in.
Yeah, because I've literally
succumbing to the pressures.
Yeah, the last 4 years. I mean, I'm not perfect, but I've done extensive practices with regular meditation, where I've had months at a time where I've started my mornings out with 15-minute meditation sessions to try to do everything possible that I could. I've researched and all these things to figure out how can I help myself focus more, and how can I help myself with not daydreaming and losing focus to be more productive and stay all these things. And I mean, you'll have good days and you'll have not good days, and that's normal, but it's not been especially when you have seasons with certain types of work, right? Where you have certain seasons or quarters or months or weeks that are exceptionally busy and you need to be able to stay focused. And I would find myself just thinking about a million different things at one moment, and I could not focus for the life of me on this one task. I would be literally I'd be in the middle of starting a task, and I'd oh, that email from 2 hours ago I didn't respond to, and then oh wait, that one thing I didn't finish yesterday, oh my boss pinged me, I forgot. And then I'm oh fuck, and then 2 hours later I'm what the fuck was I doing? You know what I mean? This is literally my life every day. I can't even tell you. And it's funny because my this person in my family that's also been struggling with this for their entire life, it's not even just work, it's in personal stuff, but I've always been this way, and so I've never thought that it was abnormal. But again, this kind of goes back to this, a lot of people probably struggle with this, but it's just because their bodies haven't been able to catch up.
Right.
But I will be, go to the kitchen to wash the dishes, and I'll be, and in the midst of walking from here into the kitchen to do something, I will think about, the laundry hasn't been switched into the dryer. My toothbrush, I was gonna brush my teeth.
Get on mic. Get on mic. You're getting off mic.
Sorry.
That's why I have the headphones.
I can't there's times where I can't even focus on house chores or certain tasks, or I'll be having conversations with even you. Or I remember when we first started podcasting, And this is before I had my Adderall prescription. And we would sit down and I would just feel so overwhelmed.
So that must have been at Anna Mike's house in Sherwood.
Yeah, I was feeling so overwhelmed with all these things in my head and I couldn't figure out how to like put it into, you know? So this is something I've struggled with for a long time. And I remember even like in high school, I would get so overwhelmed with projects for school and mom would have to sit down with me and break projects down into little tiny bitty bites because I would just get so much anxiety because there were so many things to do that I couldn't just start doing it. It was like I would just break down a little bit. And it's not like I was breaking down where anyone would know it, but she could tell I was like procrastinating to the last minute possible. I would procrastinate until I had literally something was due the next day. And then I'm like, well, fuck, I just got to do it now. Because I just was so overwhelmed. So now I have it and I take it very strategically and it does help, but I don't want to ever be relying on anything, whether it's coffee or meds or alcohol, nothing. Yeah. So I'm very particular. And like, if I have certain weeks or certain days where I know I look at my calendar and I'm like, okay, today is one of those days where I've got back-to-back meetings, a ton of project work, a ton of things that I need to be on for like 7 hours straight, then those are the days that I need a little extra help.
So that's interesting, though. That made me think that I don't think that's abnormal. I think that's the same struggles and experiences and feelings that a lot of people have because of it's just the way that human life and society is. It's very fast paced. You're worried about taking care of your dog, taking care of your job, your rent. You have a car payment. You have to get exercise. You want to eat healthy. I mean, there's a lot of sensory input coming in.
Also with technology, with cell phones, with text messages, all these things. Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think that you're unique in that. I mean, like the example you had of you're sitting in here and then you decided I'm going to go to the kitchen and make something, but on the walk there you remembered that you had clothes in the dryer. I mean, I don't think that's a condition. I mean, that's just the result of a human brain who is trying to live their life and they have a lot of stuff going on their plate. And you have those moments where you're like, you can't keep all that in your brain at the same time. You went down and started a load of laundry and then you came back up and because of the fact that you actually have to go outside of your house to do laundry, that contributes to it. Mm-hmm. So you're trying to, take care of all this stuff every day. I think everybody's like that. I don't think it's a condition, is what I'm saying.
No, I would agree. What I mean? I would agree with that to an extent. I do think that we have.
I think
disorders,
a lot of people,
and we have.
I don't even think it's a disorder. I think a lot of people would have trouble keeping all of that in their head. Is what I'm saying.
I'm saying. I feel like today we have, and I'm not like a professional, but I feel like we have. So what's the word? I'm gonna have to edit this out. Not disorders.
No, you don't have to edit it out. Just let it roll. It's natural. Conditions? No.
Like we have like conditions. I just don't want to sound like I'm. I mean, ADD and ADHD. I feel like is a good example because I feel like in the last 5-10 years, it's been like Adderall's being prescribed like fucking candy. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's kind of like, everyone has anxiety and everyone has ADHD and a lot of people have, and like, I'm not saying that a lot of people don't struggle with that. Like I want to be sensitive to that.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But I feel like there
are definitely people that actually, that's a real problem for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's, to your point earlier, I feel like we've progressed with technology so much and our bodies and the way that we work and that we live, and we only 150 years ago were literally like foraging the earth for our food and out in nature and connecting, and like we didn't have technology and screens
all
and
you were worried about was making sure that we had some food and you had a fire and
the
you
basics.
Heat the house, and that's it.
Life was simpler.
Right.
Things are so different, and so now I feel like there's a thing for everything, and there's a pill for everything, and there's something wrong with you if you can't function at this degree and this level all the time and be super productive and just like be a robot.
That's where I was going with that. I was going to say that I think it's normal. Like no human should be able to do that, and every human should have some anxiety and stress if they can't cope with all of the sensory input that our current society is putting on us.
So then
it's not a problem.
So then, well, the anxiety is.
I mean, no, it's a problem.
You know what I mean?
But it's not a condition, is what I'm saying.
No, I think it's more normal and common than a lot of us who are dealing with this think it is. For sure. Agree with that. But I also do think the result of that, of all the anxiety and the stress and all these things that we're doing this to our bodies, that part is more concerning to me.
Oh, so,
you know? So that's why I kind of got to a point where after years and years of trying to do meditation and all these other things, I kind of got to a point where I was like, you know what? I don't like that I have this, medical compound or a chemical compound that I'm putting into my body to help me. But I feel like the other option then is to be having excessive stress and anxiety about not being able to perform at the level that I want to. So if I choose to like dabble in this here and there once or twice a week, just to help me be more productive and stay focused, that to me is a better option than the output of the other option, which is like dealing with the stress and anxiety.
You'd be constantly stressed out 7 days a week.
Obviously we know stress does a lot to the body. Yeah. So, I think you got to kind of lesser of two evils, unfortunately.
Right. Because how did we get here as a society? How did we get to the point where you have to make that choice? Yeah. Yeah. Is a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. And I feel like there's other things I've gotten better at personally with not stressing and having anxiety about other things in my life, but work's been one of those things. I think like academics and like professional success and being a good performer has been always something I've felt is really important, and I'm trying to like not put as much emphasis on that in an unhealthy way. So I know a lot of that stress I put on myself is my point in saying that.
A lot of pressure on yourself.
Right, but when you live in the world we live in, and it's.
But you kind of touched on the fact that with the advent of technology, social media, and it's funny you mentioned that because I've been listening to a few podcasts about. And it was there's people that are researching from the time that social media became a thing. And I want to say it was around the big switch in the way that the population was handling things was around 2010 or 2011. Something around there is when everything switched, because at that point, everybody had a smartphone. Everybody has social media, and you have seen a change in the generation of kids. There's a line there for what generation actually grew up with smartphones and the generation before that didn't. And there has been a massive change in mental health and just the way that they look at the world and their social skills. Mm-hmm. How they can interact in real life versus on a computer. Mm-hmm. It's very bad.
Pros and cons. I argue there's pros and cons. Maybe more cons than pros, but I do think
there obviously is, and I will champion this to the end. There's a lot of good things about social media, but I didn't experience it until I was already an adult. I had a fully formed frontal lobe. I mean, this is a fact that your frontal lobe doesn't stop developing until you're in your early 20s. And if you all of a sudden get social media and a smartphone when you're 13 years old, that's going to change the way your brain develops.
For sure.
Because it's not even done developing.
For sure.
So this is a real thing.
I mean, my generation's the last generation that had, I think, personally, the best of both worlds, where I wasn't allowed to have social media, or I wasn't allowed to Facebook or MySpace and all those things until I was 18 going off to college.
Right.
So at least it was a little bit more delayed. And so I feel like I remember a world without it. And
very base level, I think a lot of what the concern is before social media, before phones, smartphones and all that stuff, you actually had to learn how to interact with other people in person.
Right.
Whereas now the interactions are all virtual, where you can, whatever social media platform you choose to use, you start having interactions with people that are, it's on a computer screen. And you're if you're not sitting in person with somebody, you miss social cues, and you will say things to another human being that you would never say to their face.
Oh, for sure.
Ever say to their face.
Cyberbullying and all these things.
I mean, but even on a more subtle level, it doesn't have to be that dramatic. It's just, but you might just, they made it so easy. Somebody posts something, and all you have to do is you can click dislike, or not even. I think they got rid of that, but now you can just say, "Oh, really?" You can just make a snide comment.
Even.
But which you would never say in person.
Even like.
But it's too easy to be negative on social media.
But even the opposite, I would agree that, or I would also say that, like, to your point, like, my mind automatically, just because of like the relationship stuff we talked about, goes to like the flirtation and like the innuendos that come about through social media. Like, you know, you're scrolling through Instagram, you're scrolling through photos, you know, and you're, you know, say you're in a relationship and you're scrolling through social media and you see some, you know, promiscuous or cute, beautiful photos, whatever you want to say, of like other people. Like, you're sending signals to your partner, you know, when you like certain things. Like, that's something that like has been a problem in relationships I've had in the past, where like so to your point earlier, you wouldn't necessarily like, okay, you wouldn't maybe go up to, okay, you're married, you wouldn't necessarily be at a bar with your wife and see another woman that you thought was hot, and then just walk up right up to her and
then
say,
go up and hit the like button. Hit the like button. Yes, I would.
You're hot. This is a sexy photo. You look sexy.
I would not push the like button in real life.
Exactly. So it's not even. It's not even. It's not even. I was just saying, it's not even just the dislike, negative like things. It's also the like flirtations and the social, like the door that's just wide open for you to be like
to be inappropriate. Yes.
It's
absolutely.
And be so like, and then it's become the norm where it's like normal. Like, one of the guys that I've dated in the past was infamous for like liking and commenting on all these women that he followed on social media. And you can't now, but with Instagram specifically, you used to be able to see people you were following. There was a tab where you could see things that they were liking. You can't see that anymore. But when I was with this person, I could click over and see. And I would see his profile name. Oh, so-and-so liked so-and-so's photo, so-and-so photo, so-and-so photo. And it would be random fucking girls, bikini photos, people I didn't know. And I just remember feeling like,
what the fuck are you doing?
We're engaged. This just feels a little weird, but that's so normal now because it's so accessible.
Yeah.
It's become less like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. But it's like, but would you, back in the world before this existed, would you just walk up to another woman and like right in front of someone and be like, you're fucking sexy? I mean, maybe if it's okay to you. I don't know.
But like, no, you wouldn't.
Well, I'm saying
these
like
people would. So again, if you were in a real world bar, random out, even if you're on vacation, you're with your wife and you see some hot chick across the bar, you wouldn't go up and push the like button on her chest. You wouldn't do that in front of your wife. So why are you doing it on social media? And that's so funny you mentioned that, because yes, I used to be that guy when I was in my DJ thing. I was bad about it. Now, ostensibly, I was trying to just build a following because I was DJing. I wanted people to come out. But it was just fucking douchey. It was so fucking douchey. There was no excuse for it.
Well, and that's actually, you made a good point. That's the gray area I feel with social media, is because for a lot of people, like, I mean, even me, trying to build a following and a community with this podcast, or if you're an influencer or your business, whatever it is, you want to engage with people, and there's this fine line of engaging and interacting, but
not being sleazy.
But your own boundaries you have to draw, and it's kind of like, where is that boundary? Depends on your personal situation. Like, if you're single, whatever, be flirtatious with men online. If you're not, then maybe you don't want to be, but you still want to engage because you want to build a community and for your business. So it's kind of this like tricky thing of like, how do you promote yourself and network, if you will, because we rely on social media for networking and business promotion and marketing so much now. But then it becomes a little bit of a...
But there is a steep learning curve there. I mean, I went through it. I'm still going through it, and I feel like I've actually gotten pretty good at it now. But it took me fucking... How long's Facebook been around? I mean, it's taken me 15 years.
2000 like...
He started it in 2000. No, he started in, I think when he was at Harvard in 2003, I think.
Oh, okay.
But it didn't get big until like 2006.
I was in high school when I got big. Yeah.
But it's taken me probably 13 to 15 years to kind of learn how to fucking use this shit without being a douche, and I use it now. I'm like, I obviously have way too many friends on Facebook from when I was a DJ, because it was the race to how many friends can I get, and I get over 1,000 friends that most of them I'd never even met in person. That's so stupid.
Yeah, it's most of us though.
So now I don't want to waste too much time on it, but randomly as I'm going through my news feed and whenever I check it, if I see people pop up that I'm like, I don't even know who you are, I just unfriend. Yeah, done.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to spend 8 hours a day to get rid of all of them. I'll just do it accordingly as I see them. But it's like, yeah, I was trying to build an audience and trying to use it for networking and marketing and all that shit. But it can get really unhealthy, and there's a deep black hole you can go down.
It can, and it's interesting because I was just talking to my good girlfriend about this a few weeks ago. I feel like when I first kicked this podcast off, I was really I was super active on social media, promoting it. I had my TikTok, all these things, which I plan to continue to do so. But a lot of things, which if you guys have listened to my last episode, like my granny passed away recently, and there's just been a lot of personal things going on in my life and family. And I had my sister and her husband out, and we had a baby shower. There's just a lot of things going on the last month where I was kind of feeling like I don't have the mental space to be present in the ways I need to be for my family, and also be like promoting this and doing this in the way I was. So I've been off a lot, but I was super like on my stories promoting my podcast episodes every week and talking about it, and on TikTok and all these things. And I was so obsessed with like, okay, I want to do this right and I want to promote it. And then life happened, and I was really beating myself up about it when I was in Mexico with the girls, because I had missed posting 1 week, and I just had to kind of realize like, okay, it's important to be consistent. Yes. But also life's going to happen. And so you got to like give yourself flexibility. And so I'm trying to find this balance of like, I want to stay consistent. I don't want to miss any more weeks, but I also know things are going to come up. So like, how do I allow myself to feel like I'm living and not obsessing and so consumed with marketing and promoting this, but I still want it to be successful. So I still want to give it my all, but I also don't want it to be so consuming to where I feel like don't have balance.
Right.
It's hard. It's hard to find that balance when you're passionate about something. It's like your business, your
baby.
And
it's a fine line between, are you doing this for yourself, or are you doing it for everybody who's trying to listen? No, I mean,
well,
right.
Both. I mean, I think I've had a lot of people, especially women that have reached out to me and given me great feedback. And so for me, I'm like, I feel like this is certain people that are listening to it are like getting value out of it. So that makes me happy.
So what I meant by that was, you're doing it obviously for yourself and to reach out and help people. But the people that, I think are going to get something from this are also going to understand if your life happens and you have to take a week off, you can't post this week or whatever.
Right.
So so you don't have to cater to the masses, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You do what you do, but the people that are going to get some value from this are also going to be the ones that are going to understand that, wow, my grandma's in the hospital and she's going to fucking die. So, I can't post this week, and they're going to understand.
Yeah.
So that's the people that you're trying to connect with.
Yeah. Yeah. No, totally. I just feel like I feel like in everything I've heard and read and people that I know that I respect professionally, it's like consistency is key to everything. And I told myself going into this that I feel like that's the one thing I can do. Maybe not bring my A game every time, but I can at least be consistent and show up every time, even if it's not the best every time. You know what I mean?
And you remember what I told you at the beginning of it? You're doing this for you.
Yeah.
And do your thing. You do this for you. It doesn't matter how many listeners you get.
Yeah, you're right.
We obviously have great conversations just off mic, but there is something almost therapeutic about when you put the mic on. I don't know why. We still talk the same as we talk off mic.
Oh my gosh.
But it is therapeutic.
Oh my gosh. When I came the last, was it last week or the week before? Losing Granny.
That was like,
I recorded by myself, and that was therapeutic to sit down and record it. It was very fresh and raw. I think that was 2 or 3 days after she passed. Yes. And then going back and listening to it, I listened to it on my flight to Mexico and did the editing work, and listening to it again, that was also therapeutic, going through that and listening and hearing myself, how I process the thoughts. And it's part of the grieving process for me. Yeah. And I'm working on editing the one that you and I recorded, and hearing you talk about it and your perspective, it's been very, I feel it's so interesting because now, I've got some people in my life that that are involved in music and have a lot of musicians around them, and seeing like these folks that are so passionate about music, and I feel like I'm getting my same high and kind of like outlet with this as like musicians get with their music. It feels very similar to me. I know it's a very different thing. It's a different hobby, but it feels the same to me.
That's why I get off work. I'm having a bad day. I want to go play guitar. Yeah. It is therapy. Yeah. And there is something about the right song or the right chords progression or just the right music at the right time helps so much. It's better than a drug. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Yeah. Just like certain types of exercise, or like, even just, I've really come to love, I do it maybe once a week. I take Riley on daily walks, but about once a week, there'll be a random night or day, if it's nice, where we go on a really long walk, and I'll just walk. Sometimes I'll listen to a podcast, but sometimes I'll just leave my phone at home, and I'll just walk around this beautiful neighborhood for 45 minutes to an hour, and I don't even know where I'm going. I kind of just get lost, and I'm just literally just taking in the sounds of the birds and the environment,
people talking, kids running around, whatever.
Yeah, and you are lucky. You live in an amazing neighborhood.
Yeah, it's great for that, and it's so therapeutic, and I just feel like I can breathe, and it's like camping. That's what I love about camping, paddleboarding, whatever it is, hikes, all that stuff. It's, it's great. It's a nice breakaway. But I wanted to tell you that I got on my recent trip. Do you know Granny's birthstone?
God, we talked about this with Granny in the hospital, and I can't fucking remember.
It's an opal.
Yes, which is her sister's name. Oh my God. I should know this.
So I was in Puerto Vallarta, and they had a opal shop. So there's a mine outside of Puerto Vallarta where they mine all of the opals. So they're Mexican opals, and they have all these different colors. And I found this ring, and it has 3 opals in it. And it was originally made in designed on a silver band, but I only wear gold, so I actually had them plate it in 18 karat or 14 karat gold. But I got this. I bought this, and I was just in there, and I'm like, okay, this is Granny's birthstone. I want to find something, and I got this one. I'll take it off so you can see it, but it's totally me, and I feel like it's just a fun ring to wear, for going out and stuff. But you're not gonna be able to see it now, but when the sunlight's out, you have to be in real light, not artificial light. But if you step outside in the sunlight, the light will hit it, and you can see all these glimmers of different colors, like red and blues and stuff, because opals they just have that reflection factor. But yeah. That's for Granny. And I actually wanted to get you something, and I looked around for a little while, but I know you're not really a super big jewelry person, and nothing was speaking to me. But if you're interested, then we can maybe keep an eye out for something.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that's
because I know you have your chain, and then
that's the one ring I'll wear, but I'm not a ring guy.
No, it doesn't be a ring.
I will do chains.
Okay. They did actually have they had a section that was more unisex friendly or more masculine kind of styles of stuff, but most of them are rings. And I know I was like, I can't see my dad wearing a ring, but I would love to get a. So I know her favorite flower is daisies.
Yes,
and
the original daisies, yellow and white. Yes.
Yellow. Oh, the white.
Just a regular white daisy.
White
she doesn't
petals?
want the other. Yeah. She does.
Well, I don't really
daisy.
like color tattoos anyway. I prefer just black.
Yeah.
Or the original.
Oh yeah, you could just do the shape. Yeah.
I've been wanting to get a flower tattoo for a while, and so I feel like that'd be a perfect one. So I might end up doing like a single stem.
Yep.
Daisy tattoo.
We could do that together. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
And we still need to get our father-daughter tattoos.
Yes. I guess we have to find an artist that we like.
So.
Oh, you know a guy.
Mm-hmm. Of course I do. It's me.
All right. We seriously have to plan that. That'd be cool. Definitely do ours and definitely do a daisy for Granny. Thank you, sweetie. Let's wrap it up.
Okay.
That was a good 45 minutes at least, maybe an hour.
Lots to look forward to, guys. I'm actually going to a podcasting conference.
That's right. In
end of August.
Yes, in Texas.
In Dallas.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
I don't know why they decided to host it in Texas in August of all places. Like, that's not the ideal.
The weather's perfect, right?
Oh, yeah. Super.
I mean, at least you won't have a snowstorm.
Like, probably 100 degrees, humid, sticky, lovely. But I'm going to a podcasting conference to learn more about podcasting, network, meet professionals, meet other successful podcasters. I'm just excited to learn. There's so much to learn in terms of like technology, the marketing side of things, how to promote yourself, how to be like the creative side of podcasting, the content creation side of it. And I feel like what I'm looking to get out of it is just to learn more and get inspiration, really just inspiration for future episode topics and like maybe thinking about different ways to kind of approach how I, organize and kind of plan out future episodes.
And that's what those conferences are for. I mean, even the writers event that I do in Cannon Beach, people go to that to be inspired, to write.
Be inspired.
That's all it is.
That's
just
what it
to
is.
Be inspired.
And also, I feel like there could be some great networking opportunities. I'm really hoping. I know this is like a huge conference, but it's open to podcasters of all different experience levels.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that I'll meet and be able to mingle because like in the evening hours after the speakers and like breakout sessions, there's like
they'll have like a social
hangout sesh, like social mingle hours. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to meet some other great people that we can maybe collaborate and like be guests on each other's shows.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, topics that are of mutual interest.
Thank goodness with again, technology, you can do everything virtually if you have to. They don't have to be in person.
No. So I'm really excited. I hope to meet a lot of other amazing people that will just be, cool collaboration opportunities for the future and
inspiration.
And just motivation for each other, because I feel like I don't have any good friends that podcast. I know of people that have podcasts, but it'll just kind of create a new little community circle for me. So tune in next week, guys.